Hello and welcome to this Oak Tree English video on how to pass the ESOL reading exam for Level 2 with City and Guilds. For those of you who have watched the Level 1 video, you'll find many points of similarity. I recommend watching the Level 1 video for more information on how to approach each question, as that one was focused more on the actual exam, but finish this video first because it will look at it from the perspective of the ESOL core curriculum. First, the basics. The City and Guilds ESOL Level 2 reading exam is in 4 parts. You have 1 hour to do them all. Within the exam, there are 4 texts and a total of 40 questions. Dictionaries are allowed, but you won't have time to use them, so exercise wisdom. Dictionaries will be provided, don't bring your own. I have a suggestion of a technique that will help you to approach each task called SARC, S-A-R-C. Would you like me to tell you about it? Well, all right then, I shall. I actually have an entire video about this called How to Pass Your Reading Exam, which I will link above. SARC stands for Survey, Analyze, Reference, Check. The first thing you should do in your reading exam is to survey the text. This is not the same as reading it. You should use a skill called skimming. Like when you skim a stone and it bounces on the water, you should allow your eyes to bounce through the text, bouncing at the start of each paragraph or section, bouncing on the title. This will give you an understanding of the gist and organisation of the text without it taking up precious time. Secondly, you should analyse or think carefully about the questions. Ask yourself what you are being tested on. This video will help you understand that. What does the examiner want to see? What type of answer is required? We did this with the listening exam, if you remember. It's the same process. Those 2 stages should take you only a few minutes. Then you move on to the longest part, referencing. This is a reading exam, and so you're not being tested on what you know, but rather on what the text says. You need to use your scanning skill here. You remember how before digital radio we used to scan for a frequency playing good music. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we're sort of doing that here. You let your eye pass over the text, looking for names, places, dates or keywords. Your survey should have let you know the area of the text most likely to have the information you're looking for. When you find the answer to the question, you write it down and move on. Finally, you should leave a few minutes at the end to go back and double check all of your answers. You should not leave the room unless you have answered every question and double checked that your answers actually answer the question asked and not another question that you've imagined. A quick word on timing, if I may. You have 1 hour to deal with 4 texts and 40 questions. I recommend spending 1 minute per question for the referencing part, which leaves you 15 minutes for survey and analysis and 5 minutes to check. That works out at roughly 3.5 minutes per text to survey and analyse. Be strict with yourself and stick to those timings. If you can't find an answer within a minute, you move on and come back to it later. There are 3 types of question in the exam. The first 8 questions are what are called closed close. Then you have comprehension questions, and then you have some comparison questions at the end. What is a closed close? Good question, glad you asked. You have a gapped text and 4 options for each gap. You have to choose the best one of the 4 to fit the meaning, grammar and context of the sentence. And there's a procedure to help with this, and it's the same as SARC. First, you skim read, that is, you look at the title and read straight through quickly without pausing to get the gist of the text. Secondly, you analyse the question and predict the answer. You can ask yourself, what is the exam testing me on? Is it grammar or collocation or prepositions or something else? It's usually grammar. Often an answer will suggest itself to your mind, and this will be your prediction. And you should put that down. Before you ever look at the answers, you should predict. Only when you have predicted an answer should you look at the choices. If one of the 4 choices, 4 words, is the same as your prediction, then your choice is made. If not, try and pick the best possible option available. Sometimes you have to use a process of elimination, like Sherlock Holmes. When you have eliminated all which is possible, Watson, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Bring me my opium. So you should choose. Finally, you should check your answers by reading through the text again and making sure that it makes sense. Would you like to practice? Here is a graphic I stole from the internet, with thanks to wordpress.com. And here are some options to fill the gaps. I made these myself. Pause and do the exercise, and then we'll restart and we'll do it together. 3, 2, 1. I presume you have paused and done the exercise, and now we're ready to do it again together. So a close or closed passage is a reading beep that increases reading comprehension. A reading what? A reading text, a reading exercise, a reading practice, or a reading exam? Of course, you all know it is a reading exercise. A passage, what sort of passage? What type of passage? Is it a type of passage? No, that would be type of, so the grammar doesn't allow for that. Is it an English passage? No, because that would be an English passage. Again, the grammar doesn't allow for that. A reading passage? Well, maybe, but we're talking about a specific type, not a general reading passage. Therefore, it must be a closed passage. Is a piece of what? A piece of test? That doesn't make any sense. A piece of written? It would have to be writing, wouldn't it? A piece of writing. So that's the wrong word, so grammar rules that out. A piece of words? Yeah, shut up. That makes no sense at all. Silly. A piece of text. Ah, that's better. Notice that X instead of the S. That's where that test was trying to trip you up. It's a piece of text in which something have been something throughout, in which words, people, ducks, ideas. Obviously the answer is words have been. Well, what have they been? What have these words been? They've been eaten, shot, thrown or removed. They've been removed. They haven't been eaten, nor have the ducks been eaten, nor have the ducks been shot, nor have the people been shot, come to that. So there we go. And oh, just notice that looks a little bit like a four-toed foot. So there we go. That is what a close is. That's what the activity is. The remaining 32 questions are all multiple choice questions with 4 options. So you'll always have a 25% chance of getting the answer right. By the way, if you fail this exam with less than 25%, you're not only stupid, you're also unlucky. I didn't mean the stupid thing. That I was just being just trying to raise a smile. So yeah, if you get under 25%, then you're just unlucky. Now these will be comprehension, grammar and punctuation, and vocabulary. And at the end, there are 2 questions comparing the 4 texts. We're going to look at these things individually. Starting with comprehension. Comprehension is the largest area being tested. Comprehension just means understanding. But at level 2, you have to show a high level of understanding and sophistication. There are 8 areas being tested, which I will cover one at a time within comprehension, you understand. First, you should be able to identify both explicit and implicit meaning. Explicit is where something is directly stated, such as Bertha preferred dogs. Implicit meaning is the meaning you gather without it being stated. So the assumptions. So you can assume that cats were not Bertha's favourite animals, because dogs were, you see. Next one is purpose. Purpose are questions about why a text was written. The 4 main groups here can be remembered using the term PIDI, P-I-D-I. Persuasive, informative, descriptive, and instructive. The gist of a text is the main meaning. A gist question will usually mention 4 things that are included in the text. You have to choose the main one, which includes all the others. That's the gist, the main idea. You'll also be tested on following arguments. This could be as simple as asking from whose perspective an article is written. You should understand that a written argument is not 2 people fighting, but rather a statement supported by evidence leading to a conclusion. State, support, conclude. This will also be absolutely crucial when you come to do your writing exam, but that's another video which I haven't made yet. Evaluation questions will likely focus on asking what the tone of a text is. Familiarize yourself with terms like aggressive, humorous, formal, academic, or conversational. These are the types of words that will be the answers to your evaluation questions. Organizational features deliver information without words. They can include type font, size, color, headings and subheadings, logos or pictures, graphs and tables, text boxes and timelines. Basically, anything that's on the page. You'll be expected to show that you are able to use different reading strategies, such as skimming and scanning and reading in detail. I spoke about 2 of these when I told you about SARC, so you're fully prepared to skim and scam. Don't mix up those last letters, because otherwise you end up with skin and scam, 2 very, very bad things. You'll be asked to summarize the meaning by saying what type of text it is, or by identifying a referent, that is something that refers to something else, like them. So Bertha likes them. What are them? Dogs. Or by choosing which text performs certain function, like giving advice, or whether they're positive. Or it essentially answers the question, what's it all about, Alfie? Without the Alfie. Now you will be tested on grammar and punctuation, not on spelling, you'll be pleased to hear, but on grammar and punctuation. In both cases, the questions will be why is X used, such as why did the writer use a semicolon and not a full stop? The grammar questions may be about things like verb tenses, or first, second or third person, conditionals, that sort of thing. If you want to know what grammar that you may be tested on, I have a video about that. It's up there. In the vocabulary questions, you'll be asked to know or work out the meanings of some technical vocabulary. You do have a dictionary if you need it, but remember that you're working within a strict time limit. Don't be put off by the term technical. This just means words that we don't use very often, unusual words or low frequency words. Often you'll be able to work out the meanings of the words by seeing what other English words are included in them or how they're used in the text. Remember, context is king. The dictionary section may ask you to use a dictionary, but you may not need to. Here you'll be asked to replace one word with another to retain the same meaning. You may need to use a vocabulary builder as you prepare for this exam to make these easier. Finally, you'll be asked to define words in light of their formality or purpose within the context of a text. As I said before, context is king. You should be able to tell if a text is formal or informal, depending on whether it uses contractions or slang. The last two questions ask you to compare the four texts and find two that share certain attributes. These questions will test one of the three sections we've just discussed. This is especially likely with organisational features, which two texts include a text box, which two texts include bullet pointed information, or evaluation or summarising. By the time you get to these questions, you will be very familiar with all four texts, so you should be able to identify these texts with some ease. So, to recap, 4 sections, 4 texts, 40 questions, 1 hour. Don't forget to survey the texts, analyse the questions, reference your answers and check your work. If you do this and you're ready for the exam, there's no reason you shouldn't pass. So good luck and enjoy it. This is one of the most fun exams in the ESOL program. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please remember to like, share and subscribe, or even become a channel member if you want to give me some money. Thank you. Bye.